Day 8, Mission of March, Intentional Inner Child Healing. Topic today, attachment styles. Attachment styles refer to the way we interact and behave in relationships, and this is influenced by how we interacted and behaved with our childhood caregivers. And I want to share with you the 4 characteristics, you might know them, that shape our attachment styles. The first one is proximity maintenance. A child wants to be near their attachment figure because that's where they feel safe. Children need to be looked after, to be safeguarded, and to feel like they are loved and accepted and wanted and acknowledged. Number 2, safe haven. A child returns to the attachment figure for comfort and for safety. So when a child is afraid, they run to mom, or is it dad, whoever they are with at that particular time, but the main attachment figure, that's who they want to run to. And we do that also as adults in our relationships. We might not have physical threats, but we might be coming from doing something, or we are a bit distressed or upset about something. We want to know that we can talk to our sweetheart at the end of the day and get a hug and get some words of affirmations. We want to feel like they will make us a cup of coffee, and also they will probably give us a gift for our birthday and spend some quality time with us. And number 3, secure base. We need, as children, an attachment figure or a base for security from which we can explore the surrounding environment. And that's the same thing again when we are in our relationships. It's not that we want mom from whom to explore the surrounding environment, but we want that home, a feel of home with our partner, someone from whom we go to work and someone to come home to. And that feels good. And then the separation distress. A child feels anxiety in the absence of their attachment figure. And we do that when we are not with our sweetheart, maybe for a little while, which is why space matters in relationships. When we have been seen our partner for a little while, especially in long-term relationships, it's nice to be going back to our partner. It's nice to go on holiday and then come back and see each other again, because we have that anxiety, and which stimulates that desire to be around our partner and get that hug, that so missed hug, that I love you, that quality time, how have you been, and doing stuff together. So those are the key factors of attachment. And if you notice, when we were talking about a child, and even when we were talking about an adult, in order for this relationship to feel safe, there has to be some consistency. There has to be some safe behaviors, some level of responsibility from the parent, some consistency, and also a show for concern and attention for their child, and knowing that they need to be there for the child when they are needed by the child. And in our relationships now as adults, the difference is that we are on the same level with our partner, and we equally both have to take responsibility. But when we are in that relationship, we each have a responsibility to make sure that we not only make the relationship safe, but we feel safe also in that relationship by observing how we are received and how we feel in the environment, and what behaviors are shown, and what kind of communication and interaction is occurring in that relationship. And that is important. Beyond just assessing our attachment styles, we need to make sure that we have a safe environment, we are secure in this environment, and we are co-regulated or supported in this environment, and we know that our partner is consistent in their availability in the relationship. There are 4 attachment styles, and we might all know these. I might just make noise by sharing them, but I want to share probably important bits that we want to understand. In the secure attached person, they are grounded in a sense of self, and they communicate consciously. They have awareness of their limitations and their strengths, and they take accountability. They are not attached to outcomes. They have a sense of purpose and high self-esteem, and they enjoy intimate relationships, and they seek out social support because they know their limitations and they can share their feelings. And above all, they trust and allow their partner to know and do what is best, and they can grieve in a healthy way if the relationship doesn't work out. They are not going to force someone to stay or to make too much effort, but they will do their best. And if they notice that their best is not enough or the relationship is not panning out, then they know to move on, because this is not like a mother-child relationship or adult-child relationship, attachment relationship, where we have to be there for our children. This is a relationship of choice. That's the difference. And we have to understand the difference when we are dealing with attachment styles. There are anxious attached people who grew up with inconsistent parents, and they have negative thoughts in relationships. They can also self-sabotage because they overfunction. They are fixers. They overfunction. They get into the space. They over-explain. They send these long text messages. They are entitled. They can be demanding. They've got a sense of agency. They feel because they feel unworthy, and they want to sort things out, and they want things to happen like now. They need frequent validation. They lack boundaries, and they are codependent, and they are distressed, very distressed when they break up. And it is important that they learn to manage their anxiety. Everyone who's insecure attached needs to learn to manage their anxiety. But more than anything, for the anxious attached person, they need to learn to detach and stand in the discomfort of the uncertainty and parent themselves. Because the idea is to manage and maintain these 4 characteristics, or to go back to these 4 characteristics for the inner, to reparent the inner child. But you are going to need to be your own safe haven and your own secure base. And you also need to be able to maintain your inner closeness. Although, of course, you might do that in therapy, you might do that with a sponsor, you might do that with a co-parent. There has to be some form of co-parent who can support you to heal your inner child. But you need to know that these people will move on. You will be left with you. So it is important that you manage to create and to strengthen your inner mother. That is key. And for the avoidant person who grew up with parents who were probably not sensitive to their responses, these people are flighty and punitive. Maybe they are avoiding conflict and vulnerability. They stonewall, they sulk, they can end up cheating sometimes, and they don't really necessarily rely on others or express their needs, and they are turned off by clinginess, which is fine, and they can rationalize their way out of a relationship or unhelpful behaviors. The idea is to learn vulnerability, to give yourself time and attention, to parent yourself and be patient with yourself, and understand that if you want to have a relationship, you have got to learn the balance of detaching, communicating that you want to parent and soothe yourself, and then coming back to communicate with your partner about whatever issue needs to be addressed. And if you choose to be in a relationship and you are avoidant, you are wanting to learn conflict resolution, to learn to open up. You are wanting to learn to maintain your boundaries, but communicate, to be open up. That's important, and not to self-betray by rationalizing unhelpful behaviors. And for the disorganized person, I can repeat myself, because of the inconsistent parenting, the fearful and physically abusive parents usually, you are wanting to really do this work and parent yourself and understand the avoidant and anxious dynamic and parent yourself for both, and learn to be consistent and get out of so that you can get out of toxic and abusive, volatile